Gracias, Pablo. Un gusto para nosotros estar aquí otro año más con Pablo y con todos ustedes aquí en el CMO Summit. Entonces, como comentan, nosotros venimos de Emplifi. Emplifi es una plataforma especializada en redes sociales, todo desde lo que es la parte de marketing, escucha social, analítica, responder a los clientes, la parte de social commerce y finalmente la parte de social care. Entonces, nuestra misión es unificar todas las operaciones de social para hacerlo más sencillo, más óptimo y más sencillo para todos nosotros. Entonces, en ese sentido, tenemos a un invitado especial. En esta ocasión me acompaña Ohad. Ohad es nuestro CEO. Les pido un aplauso para Ohad. Entonces, esta presentación va a ser en modo tenis. Vamos a estar así. Él va a hablar en inglés, yo voy a hablar en español y lo vamos a intercambiar. ¿No? Él va a estar así. No, pero sí va a estar intercambiando. Obviamente, Ohad, te gusta mucho que esto sea muy interactivo. Entonces, como vamos a ser interactivos, tengo que decir primero, arriba el Barcelona. Número 2, yo sí soy fan de los Pumas. Y número 3, arriba Luján, que es el jugador. Listo. Ahora sí, entonces, Ohad, all yours.
So the name of Ohad is, I'm also living in the United States, and like Alejandro, that's how they call you, I'm getting a lot of chats. And Juan Carlos getting a lot of JCs. So it's a pleasure to be here. I'm actually an architect in disguise. All of my career was in marketing, so I feel like a fish in the water over here. And the presentation that we decided to call it Sleepless in Cross Seattle, right? Like everyone watched the movie. We didn't want to call it Sleepless in San Miguel because we want everyone to sleep tonight. So it's about learning, network, having fun, drinking a bit, and taking some of those problems away. So, sleepless nights coming again maybe on Monday. And the way we phrase it is we have 5 different topics that throughout the conversation with all of our customers are the topics that are really bothering them, all right? And then the way we are constructing it is, here is problem, that's what we're seeing, and here is what our customers are doing. I would really love to have a conversation. I don't like to present so much as having a conversation, so if we may have Q&A and how do you go about that, it would be wonderful and much more engaging, right? So that's the deal. How many of you want to hear about AI? So, good, I'm not going to disappoint either, okay? So AI, I'll start before we go to the next one because that's that. AI, pillar number one, and just in lunch, we had a conversation and what's the next step? How do I figure it out? And I'll tell you firstly how I'm thinking about it before we go into the use cases and the nitty-gritty parts of it. Remember the AI is an means to an end, and not an end by itself. So ask yourself what you want to achieve, what is the problem, and then what module is available over there to solve the problem itself, rather than I would like to use AI. That's the first thing. The second thing, as a human to human, I think that AI has a chance to make us lazy, right? And the worst thing we can do as human beings is outsourcing the thoughts and the thinking to AI, right? So the way I'm thinking about it, and I encourage everyone to think about it, is like how this thing helped me to amplify my abilities and my skills. I'm not going to outsource to someone else. That's me, and that's how I'm using it. So let's start AI and marketing. We would like to divide it into 3 different areas. And when you think about the metrics itself, along the lines of high touch, medium touch, and completely autonomous, and you can think about it sort of a journey, from here is how I'm starting, and here is how I'm enabling my customers to completely fully autonomous. The first level is analytics. So you have a lot of data, everyone has a lot of data, customers, product, purchases, engagements, right? You're sitting on massive data sets. If it's cleaned up, how do you make sense of it? So think about, in a high touch, I can get customer sentiment, I can get product recommendation, I can get best next action. Those are some of the areas that analyzing customer behavior, right, will give you the answers. Now it's up to you, a human, a marketer, to take it into action. That's why it's very high touch. We'll talk about afterwards what are the problems and what are the risks in having a complete autonomous mechanism of the next level is recommendation. So you have the analysis itself and you go into the recommendation and the system tells you, hey, focus on this segment. This segment is very, very, very profitable. or it can give you an answer like, you should have this product and you should price at this level because your competition have it and you are the weakest in the bunch, okay? Or you should offer those products. So this is the next level where there is a level of analysis and there is a level of recommendation that the system tells you what to do already, and then you with your team actually action. Next level up is the level of conflict loans. It's a bit risky, and I can talk about a couple of the negative examples, and I can talk about the positive examples over here. We have a case study that Juan Carlos will present over here, one of the very good examples. But let's start with some of the risks. A very big airline, European airline, I will not name them, but you know it's from the country that speak English in Europe. And it's a public domain. Everybody knows about it. There was one of the customers that complained the luggage didn't make it, and there was a sort of a smiley over there, and the system said, "Well, thank you very much for for flying with us, and we're happy that we had a good experience." It turned to, pardon French, a shit show, and it was a massive PR issue. So AI not always that smart. So you really want to think about to what level of autonomy you want to let them work. Some of our customers, the way that they're addressing it, they're having Q&A, and they're enabling the AI to work with a very restricted Q&A. Here is the use case, that's the question and the answer, I'll let you do that. And if not, that's a human touch, okay? Make sense? All right, a bit more on AI, I forgot to click about that. That's direct communication, that's the heavy touch. Automated interactions, semi-autonomous private modules, we talked about that. One of the problems, and one of the issues over here is content, and content is a monster, and we want to talk about content itself. One of the biggest issues with AI, we can all turn to be the same. We will sound the same, we will look the same, and then customer will see lack of authenticity, we will not get the business. It's a very big problem, we'll open it up for you. So here are some of the examples and some of the issues. Privacy. Let me ask you a question. How many of you are actually happy to give your private information to the companies you're buying from? Hands in the air. Very few. I'm happy as long as there is a fair exchange. I'll give you my data as long as you know how to use it, you will not abuse it, I'll know what's the exchange. You get my data, I get it what exactly. So privacy is a very big issue. When you're using different modules, and we'll get to that as well, how much of your privacy, the privacy of your customers, are you sacrificing? Where is it going? What are those modules doing with that? Which leads to the next question, transparency. Can you clearly convey to your customers when you're using AI, what's happening with their data? To what end? Is it being used by other companies as well? So that's another issue. Now, let's talk about IP and trademarks. So when you're using public modules, and most of the AI installations are public, okay, you're getting actually the wisdom of the crowd. So very simple, you ask a question, you get an answer, but when you're using it, ask yourself how private or how confidential and how unique the information that you are asking the AI to work with you on, how much you want to share it with other companies, because it's going outside. So that's another very big issue, and we'll address it, we'll talk about it. And ethical, right? Are you transparent? Customers know what's happening with that. Are you sacrificing the information? So those are some of the issues that our customers are going through, and here are some of the solution itself. I'll hand it over to Juan Carlos on the example itself on CloudNet. Please.
Okay, este es un ejemplo de CloudNet. Lo que CloudNet hizo es justamente tenían la inquietud de qué podrían hacer ellos con AI. Ellos estaban muy avanzados con el volumen de data que ellos tienen de los diferentes clientes, entonces querían hacer un journey automatizado. Ellos se pusieron a trabajar en un journey de todo el flujo de datos que ellos tenían, y entonces fueron por estas etapas. El primer objetivo era mostrar un journey que fuera totalmente manejado por la inteligencia artificial de punta a punta. Entonces ellos tenían mucha de la data del consumidor, como decía Ohad, ahí es el tema de transparencia, ¿qué vas a hacer con mi data? Si me vas a ofrecer mejores experiencias, mejor. Comentaban hace rato que uno de los casos de uso de la inteligencia artificial es, voy a planear un viaje, dame recomendaciones. Si voy y lo hago dentro del sitio CloudNet, que mejor, ¿no? Entonces, aquí el primer objetivo, el proceso, era con un chatbot, desde que te daba ofertas, te permitía reservar, hasta te permitía pagar. Y lo que vieron ellos como resultado es que era como el 70% de completar el proceso completo, desde iniciar hasta completar la reserva. El otro estaba escuchando acerca de un retailer de mascotas que tiene la capacidad de traquear el 90% de las transacciones en punto de venta. Eso es oro en cuanto al volumen de data y todo lo que estamos obteniendo. Entonces aquí es 70% de completación del proceso, completion. Y luego el tema del significado, o sea, esto demuestra cómo justamente la inteligencia artificial, un potencial caso de uso, es el manejar estos procesos complejos que son multitoque, ¿no? O sea, tú quieres checar las fechas inciertos, quieres ajustar, checar las fechas, checar la disponibilidad, checar los precios. Entonces es un proceso muy complejo cuando estás planeando un viaje, si a algunos de ustedes les ha pasado, sobre todo cuando nos vamos a Europa o te vas con la familia, entonces quieres ver diferentes opciones y probarlas y compararlas. Entonces es justamente el problema que estaban buscando resolver ellos. Y las implicaciones es la habilidad de la inteligencia artificial para habilitar justamente la experiencia del cliente con la mínima intervención posible. Entonces, insisto, la idea de mostrarles un poquito el problema, como decía Ohad, y darles un poquito esta experiencia más de cómo otras personas están resolviendo en diferentes mercados, en diferentes segmentos, el uso de la inteligencia artificial.
Before we jump into the second pillar, I want to go back a bit on AI and talk about how we solve it for some of our customers when it's coming to data. Okay, so there are different infrastructure solutions out there, like ChatGPT, which everyone knows. There is a model that we like a lot from Amazon, and you can actually use this model to log information and data on your own server. So everything that you train when it's coming to data, when it's coming to transparency, you have the ability to retain data. You can be transparent about here is what's going to happen with the data, here is the outcome of the data itself, and then it's not being abused. So that's one of the examples. One of our customers, a media outlet in Germany, ProSieben, one of the biggest media outlets over there. What they do, they log hate language. Okay, so everything. Sometimes conversations go extreme on social media. They would like to log it in and not enabling that to train the model itself. And then customer services representative actually dealing with that. So there are different ways to open this smart modules that the data is controlled. You know exactly what's going to happen, and it's not getting out of control. So let's talk about before we do that. We promised Q&A, right? Yeah. What are some of the questions that we have or comments? Let's continue. I know that we have that by the end of the day, maybe the last conversation before the beers and dinner. I like this chart a lot because when we plot that, and look, we have thousands of customers. And so when you're looking at the platform, we have some of the biggest brands in the world. It means that you have hundreds of millions of profiles of the best companies out there when it's coming to, banking and finance, retail, insurance, travel, sports and entertainment. And I got this chart at the beginning, and that's for only a year. And in the matter of a year, you see a decline of 41% in customer interaction. And for me, being a marketer, we had on the other side of the fence, pretty scary. And I thought, hey team, can I get the chart that show most probably that the number of interaction goes out massively, right? Because it will enable us to do much more. So I thought that, hey, it's gonna be like that. The interesting thing over here is that there was only 4% in interaction in the year itself. Despite that, across the board, millions of consumers around the world, 41% decrease in interaction. It's crazy. And some of it is linked to some of the following issues. What companies are doing, so we're living by month, quarter by quarter, specifically in retail, right? We need to blend strategy from one hand, which is sort of short term, but there is money to bring today, right? And so I'll go to the most common solution. I'll put more money out there, I'll play some ads, I know the formula itself, I get money back. But also over here you can see that actually CPC went up by 7%, CTR went by 7%. So we are living actually in a catch-22 that Social across the board, and maybe slightly different across different generations, different companies are less engaged. Traditional media is changing, and we'll talk about content as well. And when you look at about us as consumers, right, we know that there are solutions out there. We know that social media today is turning a lot into media outlets, right? The lines are very diminishing. It's no longer so much connecting people as much as it's becoming a sales machine. It's becoming a media machine. It's organization and it's entities that want to shape our opinion. So what do? We have blockades. We have a barrier, right? If that's what I'm going to get, I don't want to be influenced that easily, and I'll choose how much I want to engage. Suddenly everything is looking unreal. There is a lot of misinformation out there. Okay? Look at what happened with Brazil, for instance, and they blocked Twitter X just last week. Countries, entities have less control of what's going out there, and consumers are voting with the feet. Okay? It's a huge industry, and I think we are living in very interesting times. So now the question is, how do we go from there to solutions and what works today? My biggest fear from AI, by the way, and I know that people are looking at the end of humanity and AI will take over us. Again, as a human being, do not want to outsource my skills, but the second thing, I don't want to be easily influenced. Okay, that's very important. But the next thing, I want to social media to see my friends, and I want authenticity. I want to know that what I'm seeing is real. I want to see people. I don't want to see something that was easily manufactured. Sure, you can train AI, but we as human beings, we have good eyes. We can tell quite easily what's real and what's not real. In my previous company, we call it bullshit detector. Okay, so we have bullshit sniffers, and we can know. So what really works today, and we'll show some of the statistics, is UGC and its activation of your employees. So think about it. I think we talked about it, right? You're activating a lot of your employees, 25,000. So think about how many customers do we have. I think we have a beautiful presentation explanation on the Danone and the water itself. Don't activate only your customers, activate also your employees. Look at all those funds, not as a means to do it in an artificial manner, but in the most authentic manner, okay? Those are your ambassador posts. The problem why we have the monster over here, there is a monster under the bed, okay? And the name of the monster is social media, and we are living in a world where we have to feed the beast, okay? Relevancy, frequency, we have to create content, it's the name of the game itself, but the question is which content we have to play, right? That's the reality itself. So UGC works, employees works, we have fantastic use case to share over here, and here is some of the examples we had. I flew in from Tijuana directly. I'm living in San Diego, crossed the border with CBX, was very happy to fly with our customer, Aeromexico. Next flight back will be with Polaris, which is also a customer, so I'm proud.
Okay, so, yo voy a seguir en inglés. Entonces, justo como lo comentaban cuando estábamos platicando con la gente de la agencia, hablaban justo de cómo podemos retar lo que la gente está haciendo y como el tema de la calidad, menos es más. Justamente fue lo que ayudamos, o fuimos una de las plataformas que ayudó a México a cruzar el tema entre la parte cualitativa y la parte cuantitativa. Eso les permitió a ellos replantear su estrategia de contenido. Y entonces lo que hicieron ellos es decrecieron 35% sus piezas de contenido. Y como a Ohad le gusta el Q&A, vamos a hacer ¿quién vota por cuánto subieron? 60. ¿60? Ok. ¿Quién da más? 40. ¿Cuánto? 786% de crecimiento en engagement. Entonces, eso es lo que comenta Ohad. ¿Dónde está el tema de la autenticidad? ¿Dónde está el momento de entender a nuestros clientes, de ser más cercanos, de realmente recordar, como comentaba, ¿no? Las bases de la idea y la creatividad, recordar las bases de las redes sociales, la idea era la conexión, la idea de sentirnos cercanos a nuestras audiencias. Entonces, eso justamente es algo que logró hacer Aeroméxico y bueno, creció su comunidad en un 40%. Sobre todo una marca como Aeroméxico uno pensaría que ya no tendría espacio para crecer, pero bueno, aún así siguió creciendo. Y me gusta aún más el siguiente ejemplo. El siguiente ejemplo es de una marca que tal vez no es muy familiar para todos vosotros, se llama Kimpton. Kimpton es una marca de hoteles, es parte de IHG. Lo que ustedes ven de este lado es una galería, y todas esas, como pueden ver aquí hay el loguito de Instagram, todas esas son fotos generadas por usuarios. Entonces, ellos en lugar de tener fotos de sus propiedades, bueno, las tienen, pero adicionalmente tienen las experiencias de todos sus viajeros. Y cuando ustedes van a esta galería, lo que ustedes pueden ver es filtrar, por ejemplo, hay una galería de gente con sus mascotas en los hoteles, o de albercas, o de restaurantes. Entonces son las diferentes experiencias que tú buscarías al momento de querer viajar. Entonces, ellos lo que hicieron en sus más de 70 destinos, publicaron este tipo de galerías en su sitio web viniendo desde social. Entonces estamos conectando lo que la gente hace en redes sociales con su experiencia, con el journey dentro de la web, y entonces incrementaron 2 veces su tasa de engagement. Y la pregunta que todo el mundo se hace hoy en día, ¿y eso cómo lo conecto con el negocio? Bueno, eso significó más de 600 noches adicionales reservadas a través de inspirar a la gente, a través de algo que hoy en día es muy común, que es el social proof. O sea, la prueba social de alguien más que ya vivió esa misma experiencia y que me inspira a mí a tomar acción porque yo también quiero vivir eso. Y es lo que nos permite que nuestras propias audiencias expliquen mejor que nosotros las experiencias que están teniendo con nuestra marca. ¿Vale?
I think we're now looking at the third nightmare. Okay, the third one is the cookieless world. And I have a question. It's a big one. I see the heads. It takes big for me as well. We are in the same camp, right? And in essence, basically, I'm putting all this money out there. I'm advertising, and if it makes sense, I'll double down. I'll make more of it. But if I do not know, if I'm flying blind, what should I do? Where is the money going? Now, can I ask? Raise your hand if cookieless world is one of the things that taking away sleep from you. Pretty much everyone. So here is what's happening right now, and here is what we recommend you. And here is some of what our other customers are doing. Don't bother to we just put everything over there. Not a fan of animation so much. So when you're looking at Mexico, 75%, 75.44% of users on the mobile using Safari. Good news. We have 1 more year. So what Google did is said, we're going to extend the life of the cookies for another year. Okay, it's messing up things for them, it's messing up things for us, it's messing up things for the users, as well. How many of you think they're ready? And this is just curiosity. No one. I'm not ready as well. Okay, so good news, we have 1 more year. The bad news, it's 1 more year. Okay, now 20.21 is the amount of Safari. The rest in Mexico is negligible, so forget about that. So this part went away. What's happening then next? Google talked about a different mechanism that we call the sandbox, and you can most probably read it on Google itself. That is a way to log customer information that you can match it and you can most probably use it. Nobody knows how it's operating right now. Okay, that's a very good question. That's a sandbox initiative. Impact on advertisers, attribution. I'm not comfortable flying blind. Most probably, if I don't have conviction for the money it's going, what it's doing, I'm going to stop more campaigns. It's a question of ROI. We talked about Safari. One of the things that I like the most is first-party data. Historically, I'm coming from a company called Emasis. Maybe you are, no, see some of the no's. But we also operate over here in Latin America. It was everything around first-party data. And when you think about your real assets are your customers, are the interaction with them, and getting to know them. And so, if there is one thing that I advise you, is one, focus on first-party data, acquire as much data as you can associate with behavior. If you can associate with behavior in all your digital assets, what are my customers doing on social? Which reviews have they left with me? Can I associate purchase in the shop? They have loyalty cards, maybe there's a QR code. Can you associate that? What do they do on the website? Which categories? Those are your real assets. Engage them, know them, keep them loyal, and then look at all the other assets that you have. So if your ads is 25% today, it's going to go away. You need to play in all the other media assets. Social, email, SMS, apps, until things will be figured out. Nobody wants to be in a position that next year is coming and then Google putting the foot down and then, wow, I want you to figure it out. And that's like, takes sleep away from me. Here are some things, but you want to hedge your bets. We have another example over here. We'll call it customer X. That will be in a very interesting way. Juan Carlos, you want to go for that?
Sí, nuestro consumidor misterioso. Ellos igual tenían esta duda de qué hacer en el tema cookies, sobre todo porque mucho de lo que ellos hacen como están en el mundo de la hospitalidad es mucho de eso pasa en las páginas web. Ustedes saben que incluso los hoteleros crean estas como páginas que son unbranded para llevarte al destino. Entonces obviamente todo el tema y todo el tracking que puedan hacer es clave para ellos. Entonces cuando de repente se vino el tema cookies, dijeron, bueno, ¿qué vamos a hacer? Tenemos que ser creativos. Y eso fue a grandes rasgos lo que dijeron, es cómo podemos mantener el targeting y la personalización sin usar cookies. Entonces, como comentaba Ohad, empezaron a pensar en cómo utilizar First Party Data. Todo el First Party Data que ya tienen y cómo lo podían combinar con los insights que estaban obteniendo de Meta y de Google. Después analizaron el tema del comportamiento, cuál es el comportamiento de los diferentes usuarios a través de las diferentes plataformas para predecir ese comportamiento. Y finalmente hicieron el tema de personalized marketing, pero a través de esos data insights. Entonces empezaron a mapear el comportamiento del cliente y predecirlo sin necesidad de tener esta trazabilidad por todo el punto de los cookies, pero eso los llevó a tener también una política muy clara de data governance. Entonces, y el outcome es que aún sin tener esta parte de cookies, ellos lograron tener este journey de manera trazable por sus propias herramientas y de hecho tuvieron un alto ROI a pesar de hacerlo en este ambiente sin cookies. Entonces, es posible, insisto, algo que platicamos mucho con nuestros clientes es el tema de la madurez digital. No toda la gente a veces tiene el data governance o la capacidad de hacer este tipo de experimentos, pero como decía Ohad, hay muchas cosas que vienen en el siguiente slide que podemos hacer, es empezar a robustecer sobre todo nuestras propiedades, o sea, nuestras propias propiedades. O sea, el sitio web es mío, ¿no? Mi página de Facebook no es mía, o sea, y me ayuda mucho para el alcance, pero no es 100% mía. Entonces, todo lo que yo tenga que tener también de manera directa como los clientes, reviews, pero no solo los reviews de Google, porque tampoco son míos, sino los reviews dentro de mi propio sitio que sí son míos. Entonces, ¿cómo puedo yo empezar a favorecer todas estas estrategias propias para obtener esa data y perfilar de mejor manera a mis usuarios?
If you're big enough, like go and knock on Meta's door, go and knock on Google's door. When you make sure that your data privacy is aligned with your customers, match it. Okay, there are different ways to match it. Whether it's first party data, you have a script on the website, and they'll tell you what the customers are doing in other, on the networks or across the web. That's sort of a bridge until someone has figured it out. If you don't have those relationships, what I will do is get out there, get first party data, and on the bottom of the pyramid, and it's pretty transactional. There are solutions today that extend the life of the cookie from the 1, 2, 3 weeks today to 3 months. Okay, month. So you get sort of a bridge, but my advice is to act now. Number 4, the future of SEO and content discovery, another very, very big pain. So we're talking about AI, but AI is a means to an end and how it's transforming everything. Look, I think that us as marketers, we see tectonic shifts right now. Everything that we knew that used to work is changing rapidly. Okay, and SEO is also one of the victims, and I think it's coming faster than we can expect that. So the way I'll phrase this thing, if you have 30% of your traffic that's coming from SEO and you're looking for years to build links and content and discovery, and it's pretty predictable, right? This thing is in a very, very high risk, okay? And I can show you some of the stats that people believe it's going to happen. Here is go animation. I should have changed the animation, and we'll share that. But you can see that there is a very, very big risk to the number of traffic, the traffic that you can expect to come for your SEO effort so far. Again, a lot of it is in Safari in Mexico. But you have also new players, all right? So Bing, right? Microsoft, they're working with ChatGPT. That's increasing right now. Hey, and what about GPT search? How many of you actually use that? I have a screenshot. I'll show you what's happening over there. It's bad news, all right? But we'll talk about also how to overcome it and how not to fall to the trap of those big tech companies and how their changes can impact us. So there is a shift. Okay, there is content authority. There is authenticity. Yes, you need to be there. You need to feed the machine itself, but the algorithm is going to change. Everything we had up until now is going to change. Here is an example. Animation again. I use the same search query, which even with my glasses, what is the expected changes in your search summary? And I use it in Google and I use it in GPT search. Okay, so on the left-hand side, step up here. On the left-hand side, let's look there. You see the summary. Who doesn't like the summary, right? We ask who doesn't. Back to the Forrester conversation, number one search is like, I want to find an answer. It's synthesized, it's easy. We're in the same boat with our consumer. I'm getting everything. This is going to increase, okay? And if I need to place my bets on that, that's the version you're going to have. That's today, that's GPT search. Look at how many links are there. That's the end. It's almost like a chat. Those guys are going there as well. And everybody is going there as well. That's pretty scary, okay? So then the question is what we can do, and we have a couple of strategies over here. Diversification, again, it's very consistent with what you want to do in the cookieless world. You want to play in all the assets, you want to have the control to yourself, you want to know your customers, you want to make sure that you can connect the customer experience from website activities, rating and reviews, social, first-party data, purchasing in stores, playing all the social medias, because hey, it's your customer calling the shots, okay? A lot of the searches today, by the way, look, I'm a father of three, 2018 and 14, 14 is a girl. My God, she's the boss. And I learned from this generation a lot about how they're using social media today. It makes me feel old, I'm 48. But a lot of the searches start in TikTok. People are actually searching in TikTok. They are searching in Instagram. They are not searching traditional media. So we as marketers can shift a lot of the focus and the discovery itself to those untraditional, the way we are thinking about it is communication. That's where our customers are communicating. That's where they are living. That's where they are searching. That's how they are shaping their view of the world. I think I covered pretty much everything. Yes? Yeah, that's how we're doing with time? 5 minutes. 5 minutes. All right. Go quick. Here, that's it.
So we don't have Real Madrid, we have the PSG. And pues Mbappé is gone, so nobody cares about PSG anymore. Y no sé por qué estoy hablando de inglés. Entonces, Paris Saint-Germain justamente vio esto, lo que comentaba Ohad, el cambio en el comportamiento, sobre todo en las generaciones más jóvenes. Entonces, ellos empezaron a notar que justamente, y algo que también agradezco mucho que mencionaron el tema de los aficionados digitales, no sé por qué lo mencionó, pero el tema de los aficionados digitales creo que en México no lo tenemos como lo hace el Real Madrid, o lo que hace, por ejemplo, los Mavericks. Yo lo vi en el caso de la NBA, soy fan de la NBA, hace como 2 años mandaron un cuestionario larguísimo, como de 30 preguntas o más, pero la verdad es que después de tomarme el tiempo de responder todas esas preguntas, cómo usaron y redefinieron la experiencia de la aplicación fue increíble. Entonces, es a lo que vamos con el tema de que cuando tú compartes información, debes de tener claro cuál es el valor que estás obteniendo para eso. Entonces, es un punto. El otro punto era el comportamiento que cambió en los fanáticos del PSG, sobre todo ellos que están intentando llegar a los más jóvenes. Los más jóvenes hoy en día están viendo la Kings League, no están viendo el fútbol tradicional. Entonces, ellos vieron un 95% de incremento en video views, 10% de incremento en engagement rates y más de 14 millones de video views, pero con su estrategia TikTok. Porque se dieron cuenta que al adoptar TikTok de manera temprana, entonces iban a poder construir esa comunidad con los fans del futuro, no con los fans que hoy en día tienen, porque esos ya los tienen cautivos, son por la familia, son por herencia, pero los comportamientos cambian y si quieren ellos seguir teniendo fans reales que compren playeras, que vayan al estadio, necesitan encontrar a esos usuarios donde están. Ellos están en los canales digitales, tales como TikTok.
Maybe we'll continue from here directly. So in the interest of time, look, here's topic number 5, and I'm hoping that going for this last topic you'll have more sleep, okay, not less. And just also in the interest of time, find us over here if you want to hear how our customers solve it and getting ideas of different presentation. Okay, it's here to solve problems. Go ahead.
Súper. Entonces, la idea es justamente, ethical marketing es una de las cosas que estamos empezando a hablar. ¿Qué es ethical marketing? Es justamente ser claros en qué voy a obtener, qué te voy a dar. Entonces, los consumidores demandan transparencia, buscan tener, obviamente, balancear. Hemos hablado de marcas con propósito, entonces, pero ahora buscan balancear propósito con profitability y el tema de la privacidad de datos, sobre todo con el uso de inteligencia artificial. Un tema que es muy común, sobre todo con temas de equidad, LGBT y todo esto, es el tema de greenwashing o social washing, o sea, realmente ser fieles a la causa y no solamente hacerlo por tendencia, y ser auténticamente inclusivos con la parte de marketing. Y aquí tenemos un ejemplo muy similar de cómo podemos co-crear con nuestras audiencias. Lo que hace Halo Yoga es, Halo Yoga tiene 2 niveles. Tiene a sus instructoras de yoga y tiene a la gente que utiliza Halo Yoga para hacer yoga, porque ellos tienen su academia online. Entonces justamente lo que hacen es muy similar, crear un contenido generado por los usuarios y contenido generado por las entrenadoras, y lo que están haciendo es, crecieron en 293% las visitas repetidas a su sitio, 107% de incremento en el ticket promedio, sobre todo porque cuando tienes recomendaciones de otros pares, tienes mayor información para tomar una decisión. Yo lo comparo como cuando nosotros que no somos, por ejemplo, de alta montaña de manera normal en México, cuando vamos a Machu Picchu o vamos a ir a Suiza o vamos a ir a esquiar, la gente siempre te da la recomendación. Tú vas por un gorrito y sales con primera capa, segunda capa, tercera capa y todo lo demás, y decías, no sabía que todo eso se necesitaba. Bueno, eso es lo que ocasionamos en el journey digital cuando tenemos a otras personas compartiendo la experiencia con esa expertise. Y finalmente, el 60% de incremento del tiempo del sitio, ¿vale? Entonces, justamente, o sea, si ustedes tienen preguntas, comentarios, el resto del tiempo es para ustedes. Si quieren más información de manera genérica, este es el QR. Si quieren la presentación, este es el QR, porque este es mi WhatsApp. Ya me pueden hacer cualquier pregunta, les mando la presentación, todo con gusto. El QR de WhatsApp yo lo aprendí hace 3 años en el CMO Summit y me acompaña desde ese momento.
I think we're already in trouble over here, right? So,
Questions? ¿Preguntas? Inglés, español, alemán. You also speak German, right?
I can take German questions, Chinese, something as well.
Juan Carlos Luján y Ohad. How do you pronounce your company?
If you speak in German, it's Hecht. If not, then it's Hecht. But in American, it's Hecht.
Hecht. Listo. Pues muchas gracias y aquí está.
Thank you very much.
Preguntas.
Perdón, estaba yo escribiendo tu
No te
nombre.
preocupes.
Nada más muy rápido, del caso que presentaron de cookies, del caso del tema de
El cliente misterioso.
el cliente misterioso, hablan de que migraron toda su first party data.
Hubo un tema de data migration, o sea, más bien era como un tema.
¿A dónde lo migraron?
O sea, fue un tema de consolidación más que migración. Entonces, lo consolidaron todo dentro de plataformas, o sea, como un tipo CDP o algo por el estilo, pero más bien fue unificar toda esa data en un solo lugar para que fuera explotada por toda la organización. Entonces fue más bien como consolidación de data más que migración de data.
¿Cuánto tiempo llevo eso, no? Hablando de cookies, por tanta información que hay hoy.
Sí, esa es una gran pregunta, te lo puedo investigar, no lo tengo top of my head.
Well, the cookies on
How much it takes to migrate all the data to a single spot so that you could actually use it?
It depends on the databases, it depends how clean the data is, it depends on the compliance. It's a rather complicated question to answer.
What do you know for the customer X, what it meant? For the customer X, did we know in time how much it took?
I can figure out and come back to you guys. But as long as they have clean data and they have the relationship with both Meta and Google, and they have the privacy policies in place. This was not the flick of the finger, but it was not that complicated. I think it was a couple of short weeks.
Okay.
Lo que sí migramos fue la parte de Meta y Google.
And because one year until Google stops using cookies.
That's unless they're going to give us a bit more rope. That's the last announcement. Okay. Thanks.
Y lo que migraron fue la data de Meta y de Google a sus sistemas. ¿Alguna otra pregunta? Sí. Ajá.
De lo que presentaron, percibí que era mucho más de marketing,
Es mucho más.
social media.
Exacto. Es marketing, es customer service, y como lo vimos con la parte de UGC, es también la parte de commerce. Entonces, pero buscamos, todo lo hacemos alrededor del contenido. Por eso congeniamos mucho con los creativos de la agencia, porque nuestra perspectiva no es el uso de media by itself, sino el tema de contenido y justamente el journey que tiene el cliente a lo largo de las diferentes etapas. Marketing, la compra y luego loyalty a través de care. Entonces justamente eso es lo que buscamos unificar en una sola plataforma. Pero por eso me dices, tenía la idea de care, sí, y mucha gente tiene idea solamente marketing y muy pocos conocen que tenemos el aspecto de la parte de e-commerce. Pero justamente es la misión, unificar todo. Sí.
So if I understand correctly, this Spanish is good better. The customers do not care about that, we organize any marketing or sales or customer services. Our job as operators, my business, your business, is to understand the customer, get all the data, so when the customer is showing up in the customer support, we know how they interacted with us, and we know that they left good reviews, so the customers may be happy, right? And we have bad interaction, so that flows all around, and we have a holistic approach in the ability to understand the customer. Easier said than done, but that's where the whole customer experience, communication, marketing, it's the same customer. That's what the customer expects from us today.
Y solo para andar un poquito en la visión, porque Ohad me dio ahí un gran punto. Hoy en día nosotros podemos escuchar, por ejemplo, lo que dice el cliente en social. Entonces tienes una idea de una percepción, ¿no? ¿Cuál es lo que percibo? A lo mejor cuando hago research antes de sacar una campaña, pero también cuando saco la campaña, ¿cuál fue el impacto de la campaña? ¿No? Ahí tengo social listening. Entonces es un punto de feedback. Pero también tenemos al momento de la compra la parte de los reviews, ratings and reviews. Entonces no solamente tengo lo que tú percibías cuando te estaba impactando a través del funnel, sino ya que compraste, ¿tú qué opinaste? Tenemos la parte de encuestas de Voice of the Customer, que es, oye, te voy a preguntar específicamente puntos de innovación, cosas por el estilo, también lo podemos casar. Y ahora en la parte de care yo puedo incluso entender cuáles son tus inquietudes, cuáles son tus problemas, y lo que estamos, o sea, la visión es poder juntar todos esos puntos de feedback, como comentaba Ohad, para tener una visión holística del cliente. Entonces, pero sí es conectar todos esos puntos, y por eso hablábamos justo también de puntos de first party data, donde la gente me está dando feedback que yo no necesariamente no estoy hoy en día aprovechando.